what happens is like when you're dressed a certain way, let's just say, for example, you put on a suit. There is a feeling of, and it's because we psychologically associate suits with like business and importance, and like important people wear suits usually. So when someone sees you in a suit, or when you see yourself in a suit, or just the act of putting on a suit, automatically makes you go into that mode of I am now more important, and people
Mhm.
automatically see you as more important. So I think there's an inward part of it where it's like it creates more confidence. But I think outwardly the perception from the world also is that, hey, this guy is more important. I should treat him as such. And therefore you kind of, you get some perks and
All right, welcome back to EHC Unfiltered, where we break down the systems that drive your performance, your identity, and how you show up in the world. Today's episode is pretty special. I'm sitting down with a guy whose work completely changed the way I and a lot of other people look at style, confidence, and personal presentation. This is Mike, the designer behind Tweeds Custom Suits. If you've seen anything recently from Sip and Pose, that was him. So what I love about Mike is that he doesn't just design clothing, he studies people. He pays attention to posture, identity, lifestyles, and the way you carry yourself. He understands that the right fit doesn't just change how you look, it changes how you think, how you move, and how you walk into a room. So today we're talking about the craftsmanship behind custom menswear, the psychology of confidence, and what separates mediocre suits from a world-class one, and how men can elevate the way they present themselves without trying to be something they're not. So let's get into it. Mike, thank you again so much for being here today. I'm very excited to have you.
yeah, man, thanks for having me. Incredible introduction. I was not even expecting that. That's awesome.
I'm getting better and better at it as it goes, it's doing
Yeah,
well.
no, you absolutely crushed that. I'm like, man, did I send a media kit or something?
See, I do all right. But
Yeah.
let's start at the beginning, Mike. Who were you before the designer? What pulled you into custom menswear in the first place?
So, I mean, I was just a guy. Honestly, man, working a regular job every day. I used to pick up and deliver dry cleaning back in the day, so that's what I did for a long time. And during that time, I got used to the idea of dressing like my ideal client. And so that meant like attorneys, finance guys, doctors, politicians, all these sorts of people. And I noticed that they carried themselves in a very particular way, and they dressed in a very particular way. So mimicking that, I had a good friend of mine who was also in the dry cleaning industry, and he was on the same wavelength that I was there mentally about dressing and following the uh lead of our clients in the way that they handle themselves as men in the world. So, um, you know, did that for a long time, had a great time with it. Ended up consulting cleaners around the country and helping them get better in their business as well. And that was a big part of what my philosophy was that I helped lead and train people around the country was you have to dress like your clients and put your best self forwards. Fast forward to 2019, my friend Donald, that was also in the dry cleaning, and decided to get out of dry cleaning and start a custom suit company. That's when he started Tweeds, and then he called me up, asked me to come aboard and join the team. Came on at a time when we were just some guys in a box truck selling suits. We didn't have a storefront. We ended up opening the first store in Sarasota in 2022, then spreading around Florida. Jacksonville was actually the 10th location in the state. I'm born and raised here, so when it came time to open this shop, I just took the opportunity to move up here and spearhead this thing.
That's awesome. So did you grow up around fashion? Where did that philosophy come from as far as, dressing like your clients? Was it just kind of like an adaptation of dress for the position you want kind of thing, or?
Yeah, I mean, really, that's basically it. I mean, I read that quote a few hundred times when I was in my early 20s, and it finally started to stick. then just like growing up, I mean, it's funny that suits is what I do now because I grew up around suits a lot. Just family was heavily involved in church, and so we go to church like two, three, sometimes four times a week. And everyone just, the men wore suits. Even as a kid, we would wear suits. My dad was a big part of my influence in just how I dress and how I carry myself as a man, just like hygiene, everything. He was always very much, getting his clothes dry cleaned, liked everything crisp and pressed. And also, big into his fragrances and just like his general hygiene. So that's a big part of it for me was the early background there, and then just later on in life, reading and wanting to develop after my early 20s, around about like 23, 24, I wanted to just start reaching some new heights in life. And so I started reading, and that quote came up literally hundreds of times. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, that's something I learned, in sales before I joined the Marine Corps that I kinda carried through my professionalism at that point was now, look good, smell good, feel good,
Yeah,
and you're gonna do good.
absolutely.
Like, that really is, it makes a huge difference. Uh,
Yes.
what was the first moment you realized you were like, "Yeah, this is my lane. This is what I'm gonna do?" Or was it kind of just that you fell into it when your friend decided he was gonna kick this thing off?
Yeah. I mean, there was definitely a moment that it felt real. I think in the beginning stages, it was just kind of he had hit me up, and we always talked about what the next step was and what we would do, and things like real estate and all this stuff and investing got kicked around, but we didn't know what any of that meant. We just knew the words, right? We didn't know how to invest. We didn't know how to go about getting real estate. So it was always just kind of a game to try and figure out what's the next step. How do we get to the next level? We could see the ceiling in dry cleaning. We knew exactly where that point was, and fast approaching it. And so it's like, all right, what do we do? So, he made the move, bold move, sold his car, and he's working for his dad. So it's like, to quit working for your family and to go try and build your own thing, big risk.
Yeah, it's
And then
not
same thing
easy.
for me. I was building my consultancy in dry cleaning. I had a, really, really robust client base. And, I was making good money. And so it felt comfortable. But it's just like, all right, do we take the risk and jump ship here on something that I know what it is, and I know what level of income I can get to. I knew about what time I would get there, and it's like, all right, do I wait to figure it out then, or do I take a risk now? So big jump because at that time I had left Jacksonville in 2017, and at that time I was living in St. Louis. Or East St. Louis, actually, which if you look that up, you'll hear some bad things, but it's not a bad place. I don't think so.
I slept in my car in East St. Louis
Yeah, for real.
by accident.
Yeah, that's what I said. I know it's not on purpose, but
Yeah, I was driving to Fort Leonard Wood, in
uh-huh.
Missouri, and I was exhausted and just found a place, pulled off, parked, and I didn't even realize until I was getting back on the highway and looking at the signs that I was like, "That's why nobody was there. That's why I didn't get bothered, is
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I shouldn't have been there."
Yeah, big talk about risk taking. Yeah. But I mean, during my time there, I was fortunate enough. One of my clients owned some property there, and he lived on a really quiet street that I guess back in the day, his dad and a few other local business owners and like school teachers got together and bought all the properties on this one road. So the whole road is just like, just really nice people. They were great neighbors the whole time I was there.
It's
But
awesome.
that allowed me to move around the country a little easier. Flights in and out of Jacksonville, not the best when it comes to going like to the West Coast. So I had to make the jump from there to Sarasota to join the Tweeds team. And so that was kind of the big risk for me was, yeah, I knew I wanted to get back to Florida because a lot of my family is here. I have a daughter here in Jacksonville. So wanted to get, just back as close as possible. And that offered me the opportunity, which is also what kind of gave me the courage to just say, hey, let's take this risk. And then as for the moment that I knew it was real, um, we had a really good time when I first started working out of the box truck. When we first opened the store location, there was a lot of learning and hurdles and things that had to go into that, and just figuring out our way, and that was fun. But there was one moment where, my boy Donald, his fiance, it was her birthday, and so he decided to throw a really nice party. And after the party, we ended up at this rooftop pool. And at this time, there was only five of us Tweeds guys, and one of them, Matt, had just got hired. He now runs our Tampa location. So we were a small group, but that party got pretty intense, and we ended up going in the pool. Fun time. Uh, Suit pants or jeans or whatever you had on.
Just
We're in
went
the
in.
pool. Yeah.
That's when you know it's a good party. That's when you know
Yeah,
it's a
we
good
had a
time.
blast, man, and we were all just kinda looking at each other like, "Man, this is not what we thought life would be, uh, right now," because all of us at that time, all 5 of us came from very stable environments. Donald was working for his dad. Rob, who actually started right before me, had his own publishing company, and he did accounting on the side. And then I had my consulting, and TJ, who came on after me, was working a great job full time, but he also had he was going to school for physical therapy. Matt had a great job in interior design, and that's what he actually went to school for. So all of us just jumping ship and coming to Tweeds is crazy if you're like a normal person. You're like, what are these guys doing? And then you factor in the fact that we're selling suits in Florida. Like,
Yeah.
it sounds crazy, but that was the moment where we all realized, okay, we're on a rocket ship here, and this thing's just gonna keep going up. So,
Yeah, when you have the right team like that, anything's possible. It's
yeah,
one of those things, you know, I'm sure looking back, you're like, "Yeah, we were solid, we were ready," but in the moment, it's because you don't know. You don't know. You never do.
yeah.
And
In the moment, you just
that's
our philosophy has been, and it still is today, is let's every day, grind it out, and we'll see what happens, and then we'll make the next move from there.
I like that. I was gonna say one thing I noticed about you is that you do seem to have a philosophy. You're not just making clothing. So what's the mission behind Tweeds? What do you want the brand to stand for, or you guys as a team?
We want to make suits cool again. Like that's really all it's about. We just like love the idea of wearing suits, just how, you know, having a custom suit fitted to you, how it makes you feel, not just because it like feels good because it's fitted to you, but because it's the easiest way I can describe it to anybody is that like every single thing that I'm wearing right now, outside of my underwear, everything I got on, the jacket, the shirt, my pants, my belt, my shoes, I designed all of this. I made all of these decisions. So this is all my decision that I'm stepping out into the world in. That's a very empowering feeling.
Yeah, it's got to be a
That's
new level.
Yeah, and that's what I try and give to my clients when I work with them. Is like, let's find something that's really you. We want it to serve whatever purpose it is. Obviously, like attorneys have certain parameters that they need to stay within as far as their clothing because they have to go to court. So it can't be super loud or anything like that.
Mhm.
But let's take what we can do and let's maximize on that. And same thing for someone who's going to a gala and they need a tuxedo. Same thing for somebody who wants a suit for their birthday or a cruise. You could have a little more fun, but always kind of pushing the boundaries of like how you can we make this suit. So, and that's what makes it cool. That's what's going to make people want to wear suits again is having something that's like that's them.
Yeah, if for anyone that like, because a lot of guys, especially in today's age, wearing suits is not a common thing. I know plenty of people who go most of their life without ever having
Yeah.
gotten in one.
Yeah,
So
I got a ton of 45 and 50-year-old clients who are like, "I've never owned a suit." Like,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, and I gotta say, if you haven't, you have to have at least a suit. I mean, I say that as someone who doesn't even have one at the moment.
Yeah.
But I mean, when I used to work for Jared, the gallery of jewelry, and so
Mhm.
showing up every day in a suit felt so nice.
Yeah, man.
Like, you really do kind of put on this personification of the suit in a sense. And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I like that, you're really looking at that. Um, when you look at a client, what are you trying to express about them through the suit?
Any little piece of their personality, whatever it can be. The easiest way for me to do that is usually with the liner on the inside of the jacket.
Mhm.
So like just for example, I'm a big Star Wars fan. And I actually can show you this. Because I put it in one of our lookbooks. But like I'm a Star Wars fan. I put that on the inside of a suit, and whenever people like see this, like they
Yeah,
know like
that's really cool.
that guy likes Star Wars. Um, you know what I mean? And it's not just the liner, it's a black suit because Darth Vader is my favorite character. So black suit, all red accents, on the like sleeve buttonholes and stuff like that. I put a quote from Darth Vader in the collar of the suit. There was that scene where the star person, stormtrooper, not stormtrooper. Geez, now everybody's gonna be like, he's not a real Star Wars fan. But one of the admirals, he's talking trash, and Vader gives him a little force choke, and he's like, "I find your lack of faith disturbing." So I put that in the back of the collar because it's one of
I
my
like
favorite.
that,
Yeah,
especially considering, the background of, tweeds in general, right? Like, that's
yeah,
kind of brings it all together. That's really cool.
exactly, man, exactly. So a
That's
little
really
little
cool.
double entendre there. Yeah, I got
So like we
poetry
were saying,
skills.
I mean, most guys have no idea how much goes into making a suit that actually fits.
Yeah,
Break down for us a little bit what separates custom from off the rack.
great question. And I'll start with off the rack, because the idea of off the rack garments is to be available to the most amount of people. So sizing with off the rack, for some guys, they're very lucky. They can fit off the rack really, really well. And, usually I've found that in doing this, that there is a body type that fits really well in the off the rack. If a guy is between the height of like 6'1" and 6'2" and around 175 to 180 pounds, they can probably fit in most things off the rack. But the problem comes when guys get above that, like 6'3", 6'4". Some of my clients are like 6'7", 6'8". Uh,
Big inching.
or guys who fall below that mark, like, 5'5", 5'4", 5'3". Even guys that are like, even around that 5'10", 5'11" area, if you're too bulky up top and like bodybuilder like, or like just athletic guys also have this struggle too, where the shoulders are really wide and they may be slim, but their shoulders are wide, their quads are big and their butt is big and their calves are big. So, you're in the range, but your body is shaped in a way that you're not going to find what you're looking for. And so what most people do is they settle. They find something that's close and they say, okay, this is going to work for what I needed to do. And most times that can do the job. And then there are
You have
people
the
who,
pair of pants that looks good, but you can't sit down in them.
yeah, 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 exactly. Don't bend over to pick up. If you drop some money, just leave it for whoever is coming behind you. But then there's the extremes of like, the really big guys or the really short guys, really tall guys, that it's never gonna work for them and they can't even find anything that's close. So that's the reason why people come to us, because we narrow that in and say, let's find something that's made for you, or let's make something specifically for you. Whereas it's all those dimensions I talked about, the shoulders, the chest, the stomach, all come into account, because if somebody's stomach is 10 inches smaller than their chest, it creates real problems with the fit, especially when it comes to jackets. And I think that's the reason why a lot of guys don't wear suits, is because, um, especially nowadays, fitness is huge right
Mhm.
now.
Especially in Florida.
I was about to say in America, but across the globe, it's like, blowing up. And so younger men are now all in that more athletic kind of physique where the chest is wide, the shoulders are wide, and the stomach is more tapered. So they don't tend to wear suits. So now we've had a whole like almost 2 generations now growing up saying I'm not going to wear a suit because it just doesn't fit my body right. And so, those are some of the problems that we solve simply by taking the exact measurements, and making something that's made specifically for each person. And then we also have some things built in where we, want to get a good understanding of comfort level and how someone wants to feel in the suit because that's very important too. If you don't feel good, you're never going to wear it. So
No.
we do all that, and I think that is like the main difference of like going off the rack versus custom fit wise. Now, customer service experience wise, this is a whole other ball game. Because not only do you come in and get a suit perfectly made for you, but like I'm gonna pour you a glass of bourbon. We're gonna have a good time. You know what I mean? I got coffee and water too if they want that. And then I'm always gonna be in that person's corner going forward. So any of my clients, that have worked with me, and I think I'm upwards of like almost 600 clients now. Um, they all got my cell phone number and they can call or text me at any time. And it can be whatever, like, hey, Mike, what shoes should I wear with this suit tonight? Or do you think this tie goes with this shirt? Like all those types of things. Not just when they need to buy something else, but like they have me in their corner as their style consultant going forward, for life.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a huge missing piece, I think, for a lot of guys actually is,
Yeah.
even if they go somewhere and have that experience, is that there's not that continuation afterwards,
Yep.
even that touch base. So that's really cool. I talk a lot about physiology and psychology working together. When a man puts on a suit that fits, he walks different. He talks different. From your perspective, what changes internally?
So, there's a study that was done and they came up with it's called enclothed cognition. So what happens is like when you're dressed a certain way, let's just say, for example, you put on a suit. There is a feeling of, and it's because we psychologically associate suits with like business and importance, and like important people wear suits usually. So when someone sees you in a suit, or when you see yourself in a suit, or just the act of putting on a suit, automatically makes you go into that mode of I am now more important, and people automatically see you as more important. So I think there's an inward part of it where it's like it creates more confidence. But I think outwardly the perception from the world also is that, hey, this guy is more important. I should treat him as such. And therefore you kind of, you get some perks, and people tend to look at you differently. I know one of our guys, he runs our New York store now that just opened earlier this month. And he said he's young as heck. He's like 20. He just turned 22. When he joined the team, he was 20. Um, and
That's
he's the
young.
youngest person we ever hired. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he said after his like third week of work, and he's like, I've never been called sir so many times in my life. Is a 20-year-old guy.
Yeah.
Like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, people just automatically see you in a different light. And I think that contributes to the confidence because now it's like a reverberation of like, okay, I feel better, and then people treat me better. And so now I feel even more better, and then people treat me more better. And then that leads into how you work. You know what they say, look good, feel good. And then feel good. Deion Sanders said this, look good, feel good, play good. Like, let's equate this to business world. Like, we're all playing on a field, and the better you look, the better you're going to feel. The better you feel, the better you're going to perform. And that's just what it is. But enclosed cognition is what they call it.
I'm gonna
I
have
don't
to
want
look into that.
to,
I'm gonna have to look into that study. I love reading like the
yeah, I don't want to say who it
what
was. I
gets
want to
into
like
it.
everything's always like Stanford or Harvard, but I don't know if it was one of
But
them
yeah,
too.
usually it's like one of those.
Yeah. So,
So
but yeah, it's cool.
do you see guys transform in real time during fittings? Like
Oh yeah,
as you're
absolutely.
putting them in it?
Absolutely. I got one of my guys is funny, man. He's a young lawyer. He's in Tampa, and his dad was the one that brought him in, and we fitted him up for two suits. He was excited about it. I remember when he came back for the fitting, he came without his dad. Um, and so he steps in the dressing room, puts on I always go pants and shirt first so I can just check the fit, and then I'll throw the jacket on and we'll see how everything looks. So he comes out in the pants and the shirt. He's kind of looking in the mirror like, okay, this feels good. This looks good. He does like a little squat, make sure the pants are good. And then I put the jacket on him. And he's like he goes like this,
Yeah.
and then he's like and it's just that, like, head tilt from, like, here to, like, "Hmm." Then he, like, starts checking himself out, and then he looks over at me, he's like, "Man, I look like a boss." And I was like, "Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Yeah." And then he told me, he's like, because usually people like change out of the suit and then they go back into their clothing, and I put it in a garment bag for them so they can take it to work or home and put it in the closet. And I'm like, go ahead and take it off. I'll bag it up. He's like, no, I'm wearing this. I'm headed back to the office now. I'm like, okay, great. He's like, my dad's he's gonna love it. He can't tell me I look like a bum anymore. And I just start cracking.
It's those off the rack suits, you know?
Yeah, but it like in that moment, it really made him feel like you could see the confidence build up from the moment I showed him the suit, because I always show it first because people like to see. No one can ever visualize what it looks like when they first come in because I'm just showing them a little fabric swatch and they're just like, okay. And I'm telling them it's going to look great. But I show it to him, open it up so he can see the liner. So he's loving that. He puts the pants and shirt on. He feels kind of good. Then he puts the jacket on. He feels better. But when he took that moment to look at himself, you could just see his face just totally transform. And it was dope. Those are the moments that I love. Like that's what we do this for.
I was gonna say those have got to be the moments where you're like, "This is why I do what I do." Like,
Yeah.
just it makes you feel good, because you're
Yeah,
like,
it just made me
"Man, I
feel
do
like
my
a man. His
job."
dad
Like,
can't tell me gotta go more.
um, yeah.
Yeah.
From the coaching side of things, since that's what I do, um, posture shifts your mood, mood shifts your behavior, behavior shifts your identity, uh, and like you said, a good suit puts you into that version of yourself that you've been trying to grow into, or that a lot of people, I would be willing to say, are not necessarily afraid of trying to reach for on their own. Like you said, like he got pushed into it by his dad. A lot of people come in for events. Um, so suits almost become more of a commodity through necessity and not
Yeah.
necessarily, just an everyday wear.
Yeah,
So
because I think there's an intimidation factor there sometimes, like you said, unless there's some sort of outward force pushing them, like his dad or a wedding or something like that. I think for the general public, there can be some apprehension there because the one thing that we also face and come up against a lot is guys just don't really know how to put suits and suit separates and things like that. Like classic menswear, men don't really know how to pull it together sometimes. And
matching the shoes and the belt and,
yeah, yeah, you'd be surprised
what
how many
does
guys don't
match
know
the brown and what doesn't,
yeah.
and
You'd be surprised how many guys don't know what I mean, like, to me, it's like the basics, match your shoes with your belt, but guys don't know that a lot,
because a lot
unless
of
they
us
work
were,
in an industry
raised
like
without being
fashion.
taught.
Yeah.
Um,
So,
so you have to, I don't know if you've seen this trend, but if you have, you must love it. The, quarter zips coming back across the country, it seems.
it's, man, look, I think it's dope. I came up in, I'm a 80s baby, grew up in the 90s, late teens, early adulthood was the early 2000s. There was a moment around it's like 2003 where we all started wearing like the dress shirt underneath the like sweater or cardigan, but untucked so the bottom of the shirt like hangs out of the bottom of the sweater. You had the jeans on with the sneakers. That was kind of the way to go to the club. You might have a little cap or something.
Something to
uh,
tie it together.
yeah, so we got our thing. um and I don't mind the kids having the quarter zip thing. I think it's getting them dressed up. So
Yeah, getting them out of the, streetwear definitely has its place, but it's nice to see, the younger generation looking for that professional presentation. And like you said, like it changes how you view the world and how the world views you. And that
yeah,
can
absolutely.
completely change somebody's direction in life.
Yeah.
So I
And I
think
think
it's,
it's cool that they're trying something new,
yeah,
Um, we've gone through the ripped jeans, which I 100% do not agree with. Um, there's this baggy phase that's going on, which I'm okay with because people have started doing that with suits, and I like some of the looks that are coming out with some of those. So that's cool. And then I think this is just the next phase of like testing the boundaries. I think every generation goes through it. You push the boundaries to see what you can do and try to be different. And now it seems like somebody started wearing the quarter zips, and now everybody's like, "Yeah, this is a cool look." And so you set a trend. But it's
Which
a
is
cycle.
really
It always
cool.
happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So walk me through a little bit of the Tweeds process as far as a guy walks in needing a suit. What
Mhm.
happens first? Is it measurements? Is it fabrics? Construction timeline adjustments? What are we doing?
Yeah, so I mean, first and foremost, we try and make sure we greet everybody at the door enthusiastically and just like make you feel welcome because that's it's the biggest part in building the foundation of the experience. Because a lot of people are used to going into suit shops and it being like kind of stuffy and nobody talks to you or even ask you any questions until you go to ask them a question. And that actually kind of is just like that's the experience in like the luxury space in general, which is a little disappointing. People are spending good money, so we want to make sure they feel good as soon as they come in the door. Feel welcome, always offer them a drink, things like that. And then I usually like to sit down and explain the process and just to prepare them, like, hey, this is what you're about to go through. And then the actual process is we start with measurements. So full body measurements, head to toe. There's about 30 different measurements we take just to make sure we get every part of the suit made the way that the client wants it. After measurements, we have fit model garments that we put them in. So it's like a jacket, shirt, and pants. That's where we understand the comfort level because some guys like their armhole a little higher. Some guys don't like that feeling because it just feels restrictive. Some people want their suit a little more snug. Some people want it a little more loose and more room, especially around the shoulders. So we have to put them in garments that are close to what we anticipate they want the final product to be. Ask them questions about what they're feeling so we know where we can afford to like, I can go a little more snug in the stomach or, they may want a little more movement through the chest. Get all that understanding, take pictures so we get a good understanding of posture. And then that's when we like get into the fun stuff. That's the hard part. And then all that stuff gets compiled into a fit profile. So I have a profile for each one of my clients here on my laptop and I can reference back to it anytime we make adjustments. I update their profile, things like that. I keep a little record and so of what they like and what they've purchased. So if somebody leans more towards blues or somebody leans more towards reds, I'll make sure I know that.
Yeah, helps you make
Um,
recommendations and
yeah,
things like that.
absolutely, absolutely. And then also understanding what they already have in the wardrobe because sometimes clients will call up and they'll just say, "Hey, I want a suit," but they don't really know what they want. And if I know what they already have, then I can, say like, all right, cool. You got this, this, and this. Do you want to be adventurous this time or do you want to kind of stick to your same mode of operations? Once they answer that question, then I can make my suggestions and things. Um, but yeah, that fit profile stays here. I got it forever for all my clients. And it's good to always reference back to. And we all do the same thing here at Tweeds. And then I break out the fabrics. We find the suit or sport coat, whatever they might need. We pick out all the custom details, any custom embroidery that they might want to do, all that cool stuff. Then everything gets made. Everything's made handmade from scratch here at Tweeds. We own and operate our own manufacturing, so we do have full control over timeline. If anybody needs something, in a little bit of a hurry, our standard turnaround time is like 4 to 6 weeks, but a lot of times we get clients in that, they only got 2 or 3 weeks to work with. So having the ability to make that happen, I think is a huge benefit for us because most custom clothing companies are 6 weeks out standard. And it may be longer. So
Yeah, so cutting that in half is huge.
yeah, man, for sure. It's a big part. It's led to a lot of business. We've had clients that have told us just simply the fact that we can get it done for them quicker is the reason why they went with us versus someone else. So it's a huge, huge benefit for us. But after we get it back in, we have the client back in for a fitting. We put everything on, and that's where we kind of check and balance all of the things and see what we need to fine tune, get all the adjustments made, and then we have the perfect fit from there. And then the other beautiful part about it is like if any of my clients have something happen to their suit, they lose a button or, seam rips while they're like bending over to pick up that money that they shouldn't. Then bring it back to me. We'll make it right for them. And if unfortunately anyone gains any weight, we do build extra fabric into the seams so we can always open it up. And then the opposite way as well, we can always take it in when they do lose the weight. So we understand that people are going to go through changes throughout time. Things are going to happen. These suits are made to last 15, 20 years. And a lot can happen over that course of time. Now, Tweeds has only been in business for 6 years, so I look forward to the day that I have a client that's been around 20 years. That would be phenomenal, and they're still rocking the same suit that I made for them 20 years prior. That would be fantastic. But
And that'll be yeah, that'll
uh,
be really cool to see, like, the progressions too, because
yeah,
things are always gonna be changing. It's never gonna be the exact same thing, so that'll be really cool to have, especially like you said, like, that whole file, really being able to look at it and be like, "Look, this is where we started, and these are, all the things that we've done." So that's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
Most men, I think, don't go to consultations for things like this, because they are used to that kind of mindset of like, I know my size, I can just get it off the rack and put it on. What mistakes do most men make when choosing suits?
Oh, there's a few of them that I can like right off the top. Going too small is, anything with the size. Too small, too big, big mistake. Probably the biggest one you can make. I think color can be a mistake too. Like if a guy doesn't have any suits in their closet, then don't go get like a bright royal blue suit or get a red suit. Like that's not gonna serve you well. It may look good for whatever event you're getting it for, but it won't do anything for you in the future. In those cases, navy is always the best way to go because it can serve so many purposes. Another mistake is just not knowing the basics of like we talked about earlier, matching your shoes with your belt. Like that's a basic thing that a lot of guys don't know. So match your shoes with your belt. Picking out the wrong tie is another one too. Some guys tend to go for the flashiest tie they can get, and I don't think that's always the best route to go either.
Yeah, because it's not about the
Uh,
tie, it's about the suit.
yeah, and then like brightly colored vests too. Like, don't buy a pink vest. Like you know, you
I
might
think
be
I
able to
did
wear.
that for my like my first high school prom. I
Yeah,
think it was
and
like a
that's when you do that kind of thing.
yeah.
But like for the guy who like if you're going on an interview, don't just don't.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, so, like, those are some of the big mistakes, and then, yeah, the big one again is, like, fit, going too either too small or going too big.
What small details do you think matter the most?
Buttons, for sure, and it's not something that most people are gonna notice, but, like, I think for myself or just, like, men in the know, anytime I see a suit with, like, some really just nice different buttons on it, I know that that's something he did something right. Wherever he went and got that suit from, he did something right. Same thing with like functional buttonholes, which
Mhm.
usually you're gonna find these on mostly custom garments, but they actually button and unbutton. Another like small detail that means a lot in the world of suiting. And again, it's one of those things where guys who know. So that's the reason why I keep my last one unbuttoned because
It shows like it works. It's a real
yeah. And, like, the guys who know that there's another button there. The layman will say, like, "Oh my god, you got a button missing. What happened?" And it's like, "No, it's there. It's just unbuttoned."
yeah, because I
So,
can actually unbutton mine.
yeah.
Um, where do you see men's fashion heading in the next few years? What trends are you excited about and what needs to die out?
Ripped jeans need to die out for sure. Nah, I'm joking, man. Anybody
They've
who
hung
wears ripped
on for 20 years now, it's
Yeah, I just ask people style. It's just not my style. I don't mind it in casual settings, but, like, I've seen, like, people wearing ripped jeans to work and stuff. It's like, come on, man. Like, do you want
yeah.
people to take you seriously or
Yeah,
not?
we weren't even allowed to do that in high school, like
Yeah. Um, But no, dying out, I don't know, man. I think the quarter zip thing is gonna be a flash in the pan. I don't think it'll stick around as long as our trend of the, um, dress shirt casual, that's what I'll call that look, with the jeans and the sweater. That was around for a minute. I don't think the quarter zips are gonna stick around that long. I think quarter zips will be around till the end of winter, and then we'll have something different when fall
Yeah.
rolls around
I
next year.
think especially with the development of social media and the internet, like trends now, especially for fashion, burn bright and fast because
Yeah,
it has the ability to spread so much faster, I think. And so that kind of makes it like, okay, everyone likes it all at once, but then now everyone has it, so now nobody wants it.
right. And that's the
Yeah.
thing, like, back when, our trend was, around, like, '03, um, things didn't there was no Instagram or Facebook or any of that. Well, I think maybe Facebook. I don't know if Facebook was around. I don't think it was. Uh,
No, I don't think so.
yeah, like
I don't think Facebook until it was like 2010 almost maybe?
oh, okay, yeah, yeah. So, no, we didn't have really anything. We had, I don't think MySpace was even around yet, damn. Um, but that trend stuck around all the way through, like, 2007. And that was because it was such a slow build and slow burn. And, it's 1 minute when you see Usher or Justin Timberlake show up in it, and you're like, all right, that's cool for the R&B guys, but like, that's not what we wearing. And then you see Jay-Z pop out in it, and you're like, all right, this might be kind of cool. Let me go get my collar shirt. you
Yeah,
know,
and then
and so
now, I
that's
mean,
how
you
those
open it
three,
up and it's everywhere
yeah,
immediately.
everybody's got it instantly now. And so I don't think trend, it's not gonna last that long.
So do you think, how do you see it going as far as, like, tailoring versus the, athleisure kinda thing that people got going on now?
Yeah, look, I'm not a fan of athleisure. COVID did a number on us mentally and physically.
Everyone's still in sweatpants from
Yeah,
5 years
everybody's still
ago.
in sweatpants. And it's a little annoying because the all right, so here's where I have a problem with it. If you're doing athleisurely things like working out or lounging around the house or traveling, that's cool. Even traveling though, I put a jacket on because again, you just get treated differently. I've been letting to so many lounges that I'm not a member of just because I got a jacket on.
Mhm.
Um, so I'm always wear a jacket when I travel, but I understand why people wouldn't.
Well, and you're your
Uh,
own billboard too, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's like people are
exactly.
like, "Oh, I like that suit, I like that jacket," whatever it is, and you're like, "I made it." Like
Exactly, exactly. So yeah, that's also the big benefit of it, the main benefit. But I get why people don't dress like that when they travel. I understand it because you want to be comfortable. The problem I have with athleisure wear is when I see it in a like office building, like or you walk into like, we got a Bank of America building here downtown, and if I like go into that building, I guarantee I saw somebody actually. My wife and I were coming from a morning coffee networking this morning, and as we're pulling out, there are people crossing the street and they're going into the building to go to work. And yeah, I see like Lululemon sweatpants and sneakers and um hoodies, and it's just like, okay. Like I want to assume that they like work in tech, and I hate to talk about tech people like that, but that's just what tech people wear. But no, this was an office building that is not like tech heavy, and they're going in there just kind of dressed like they're still working from home. So that does bother me a little bit.
and I mean, it's gotta be you're so ingrained in it, like, it's gotta be something that you can't even turn off, like, you must walk down the street and just kinda, like, rapid fire, like, judgments
Oh
across
yeah,
people,
oh
like
yeah. It's I also turn it into a fun game too. But again, as much as we've been taught not to, we always judge the book by the cover.
That's why books have covers, that's why I always say.
Yeah, so I always try and guess like what somebody may do, and then because I this is what I do for a living. I usually try and guess what a guy does by what kind of suit he has on. So like more conservative looks. I'm probably thinking attorney, or accounting, something like that. Little bit louder. I'm probably thinking like influencer or, news personality, something like that. If it's a navy suit or a gray suit, politician. So I just turned it into a game.
I mean, I do the same thing to an extent, that I've never really been able to turn off because I did door-to-door sales for a little bit, and
Nice.
so a big part of that is analyzing somebody's house from the outside, like walking past their house and being able to look and say, "Okay,
Yeah.
who keeps their lawn clean? Who
Mhm.
has, like, the nice cars? Who has trash just all over their yard?" Like, and you have to kinda be able to put together all these little things of, like, who is gonna be behind that door.
Yes. Yes.
So I mean, it's the same thing. It really is the
No, that's cool, man. I
same
didn't know
con
you did door-to-door sales. That's dope.
Yeah, yeah, I did door-to-door
Yeah.
sales for a little while there. I was doing, smart home tech and home security.
Okay,
Um,
okay.
Worked in Alabama for that summer. That was fun.
Phew. So
Yeah.
that's what we used to do in, dry cleaning was we did door to door. We used to sell the pickup and delivery service door to door.
Yeah, it's not for the weak.
Nah,
Door to
man.
door is not for the weak, man.
You gotta have some persistence and you gotta be willing to go through it. 'Cause yeah, man, I can remember some days where it was like whole days,
Just slamming
100
doors in
doors.
your face and
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I've been
If you
there.
can't take 100 no's in a day, then door to door is not for you.
Yeah. So, when you're not designing, who are you? What does life look like for you outside the studio? Hobbies, inspiration, lifestyle habits?
Yeah, I mean, now I'm a husband. I've been a father for a long time. My daughter just turned 18 uh earlier this month. So that was me for outside of suits. Big on like my parents and my family and just keeping in contact where I can. Now I know they're gonna hear that and be like, he don't never call nobody. Uh, but I'm doing a lot better. I'm way better than I used to be. My wife has also been the one encouraging that. We just got married back in May, right before we.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, man. That was right before we moved here to Jacksonville when we decided to move up here and take this location. So yeah, husband, father, family person, Jacksonville Jaguar, diehard fan. Um, yeah, yeah, and I
So
love everything Jacksonville.
yeah, I like showing people the human side behind the craft, because you're not just suits, right? You're someone who clearly cares about every detail, in every area of life because you see that it is all interconnected.
Absolutely.
That is one thing I always say to people that I picked up from a previous mentor of mine was how you do one thing is how you do everything.
Yes.
And so I think that's huge. I love seeing people implement that, even if it's not necessarily a conscious philosophy of theirs. Like I notice the most successful people apply that through their life. You know,
Yeah.
you can't do everything at work all day. My cat's going crazy. You can't do everything at work all day and then turn around and be lazy when you go home. You
Yeah,
know,
for sure.
that's not going to work. Um, if you could give every man listening 3 simple upgrades to instantly improve how they present themselves, what would they be?
Um, get a haircut regularly and beard trim if you have a beard. Make sure your clothes fit properly. You know, even if it's like even if the ideal silhouette for that person is slim or even if it's the more baggy aesthetic, aesthetics are okay. It's about making sure that the fit though, because each one of those aesthetics looks and feels different based on somebody's body type. So making sure you get that part right, in the fit right, because if it's again too small or too big, it's not gonna look good. Um, lastly, hmm, what did I say?
Maybe a color palette?
Get your fit and aesthetics right. Okay. Get your hair cut, get your beard trim. Yeah, know your color palette. Each person's is different. So me personally, I gravitate more towards and also just I look better in earth tones. And even like what I'm wearing now is like it's a more muted, like I bright red is not the color that's gonna do it for me. So more muted red or pink or purple tones do work for me. And I do understand that. So just kind of knowing what works for you, and it's not hard to get an understanding of that. You can go, when you go to the store, just like take your arm and like put the fabric over it, and just look at the fabric on your hand, and see if it washes you out, or see if it like brightens up your skin too much or dulls it down too much, and you'll get a good understanding of knowing, what works for you. Blue in general works for all men. So, if you have blue eyes, blue works so much better for you. Same thing if you have green eyes, like green is gonna crush it for you,
But
you
yeah,
know?
it's gonna make them look
And
crazy.
yeah, so, um, you know, real simple to kind of figure that out.
What should a guy look for when preparing for their first custom suit?
Look for somebody that's reputable. Um, obviously check out some reviews. Check out, online, all the same stuff that I would do if I was looking for anybody who's gonna do something that like involves care for me personally. So like a doctor, I'm gonna do my diligence there with like references and things. With like my barber, before I moved back to Jacksonville, I looked up to see where I could find a good barber. I found him on Instagram and just kind of went through and watched some of his videos. I actually did not find his barber page on Instagram. I found him in the gym. He's freaking jacked, so I was like, I want to look like this guy. I'm gonna go get my haircut here. And then he turned out to be a good barber. But no, I did check out his Instagram before I went the first time. Just making sure that they're reputable, and making sure that you see that they've done the work that you're looking for. So a lot of times I tell clients, hey, go to our main Tweeds suit shop Instagram has a lot of like inspiration pics, and that's really what it's there for, is to just show as many looks as possible. So a guy can go on there and say, okay, they do make suits the way that I like them to fit, for whether it's our more like slim fitted clients or our more like traditional style clients. They want to be able to see those examples. So, um, reputation, I think, is a huge one. And then also just kind of browse the website, do your diligence there, kind of see what they have to offer. Most people will give you kind of a lay of the land of what it is that they work with. For us, we work with several fabric mills worldwide. Four of the most prominent ones that we work with are on the front door here, or on the graphics on the window.
Mm,
So, I've had guys stop by and say like, "Oh, I see you guys work with Laura Piana. I love their fabrics." Just make sure that they have what you're looking for before you go in. Or you can always call or visit the place and ask questions, but make sure that you're informed before you make that purchase.
absolutely.
Yeah.
What's coming for you next? Anything you're building, designing, or expanding into that listeners should know about? Anything you're excited for?
Yeah, man, I got a bunch of things I'm excited for. And in the interest of like putting my intentions out there in the public so that the world can hold me accountable. Working on my first book. Not for the public though, it's just more internal literature for tweeds, but also working on my first book for the public. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that out there so people can hold me to it and make sure that I get it done.
Put it in the
Uh,
world for you.
yeah, for sure, man. The internal book for Tweeds, done by the end of this month. My own personal book for the world, done by February of 2026. So that's got me really excited. Also just kind of ramping my game up on social media and seeing what I can do there, what kind of things I can make happen there. Obviously the growth of Tweeds is, first and foremost. We're, again, we will by the end of this year have our 16th store open, and it's actually going to be in New Orleans, so that's a pretty dope one.
Yeah,
But the goal next year is to have 15 more open, so just trying to double the numbers. So I'm excited about that. That always keeps me going. But the last thing I'm excited about is I'm also working on putting together my own podcast that I can reach out to. Specifically, I'm looking at targeting young men who may feel like they got some talent inside them, they got some potential inside them. They just don't really know how to unlock that. And I know what that feeling feels like. Uh, of being like wanting to express to the world, hey, I got something here, not really knowing what it is and not really knowing how to bring it out to the world and to help the world. So I want to help some young men unlock their hidden selves and see where they can go from there. And the platform that I like to do that on is a podcast, and looking to get that going here in January.
So is that gonna be a little more fashion focused still, or is it gonna be a little more broad?
And there will definitely be some elements of menswear because obviously I feel like this is a huge part of what took me from just being like, a struggling young man to changing my trajectory. So that'll definitely be a big focus of it. And then obviously because I'm with Tweeds, we'll definitely talk suits for sure. But a lot of the other focus is just going to be on like the mentality of what it takes to really grind and hustle your way out of mediocrity and into success.
That's awesome. Well, Mike, I
Yeah.
appreciate you. Your eye for
Yeah.
detail, the way you think about it, and the way you think about a fit, the way you understand people. That's what separates a designer from someone who just makes clothes, right? For anyone listening or who is interested in getting in contact with you, where can they find you?
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram at Mike with Tweeds, MikeWithTweeds. My phone number directly, I put that out there all the time. It's on all my socials. So 941 is the area code. 320-2871 if you want to call and text. Even if you just got a question, like let me know, hit me up. I'm always down to answer a question. It's the more fun part of my day is when people call me to ask me a question. So shoot me a text, hit me up there. And again, you can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook. Facebook page is just Michael J. Same thing on TikTok, Mike McTweeds. So yeah, hope to hear from some people. And
Yeah,
then here in
absolutely.
Jacksonville, we're located at 1049 Park Street, right here in the heart of Five Points in Riverside, neighborhood that's very dear to my heart. This was a big part of my pickup and delivery dry cleaning territory back in the day. So
Okay.
one of the reasons why we chose this spot, it's got some sentimental value to me.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure 5 Points is actually where I got my, first digitals taken too, so,
Yeah,
yeah, so
nice.
that's cool little tie-in there, but,
Oh, it is an
um,
awesome place.
for everyone listening, here's the truth, right? How you present yourself is part of your performance. It's communication, it's identity, it's the first signal that your nervous system sends before you even speak, and if you've been thinking about leveling up, how you show up in the world, start with someone who actually cares about the craft, right? Check out Tweeds, check out Mike, and get yourself into something that actually fits the person that you are becoming and not just the person that you are now. This is EHC Unfiltered. I appreciate you for being here, Mike, and then I'll see
Thank you,
you
man.
guys on
Appreciate
the
you for
next
having
one.
me. Cheers.
Cheers.